Good day, I am Marchiel Villacrusis from BEED 1B, part of the Group 2 reporting. So right now we are going to discuss the Chapter 6, the Rizal's return to Europe and his work El Filibusterismo. So this chapter discusses Jose Rizal's trip to Europe and his novel El Filibusterismo. It highlights Rizal's decision to return to Europe due to safety concerns for his family and friends, believing he could better fight the Spaniards from abroad. Before leaving, he wrote the Himno al Trabajo, Hymn to Labor, for the workers of Lipa City. So first, we are going to discuss his trip during Hong Kong. So his second trip to Hong Kong in February 1888 saw him working as a secretary for a British colony official, si Jose Sainz de Miranda, was a position that placed him under the scrutiny of Spanish authorities seeking to monitor his activities. So, kani si Jose Sainz de Miranda is mo na siya ang nag-monitor ni Jose Rizal because gisugo siya sa Spanish to monitor his activities in Hong Kong. So, the Ateneo's American steamer named Oceanic, mo ni siya ang gisakyan ni Rizal from Hong Kong to Japan because he was invited by Juan Perez Caballero to live at a Spanish legation. So, Jose Rizal know that it was a bait nga Spanish is trying to keep track on him so that Spanish na ay mga update about niya. Because ang Spanish is mainit na ang mata ng mga Espanyol kay Jose Rizal. So he accepted the invitation because he has nothing to hide. And he found himself admiring the beauty of Japan and formed a romantic relationship with a 23-year-old girl named Osisan. Sail to the west. Rizal was tempted to settle in Japan with Osisan, but wala na dayon ilang love story because on April 18, 1888, Rizal boarded the English steamer called Belgic, bound to United States, reaching on April 28. So, ninglarga siya April 18, naabot siya sa United States in April 28. So, 10 days siyang nagbiyahe because nang-visit pa siya sa San Francisco, then the second day sa Oklahoma, then the other day Sacramento, dayon to Reno, and finally naabot siya sa New York. So in May 16, 1888, the ship called City of Rome sailed where he decided to stay in London until 1899. He decided to stay in London because it is a crucial center for Rizal's intellectual and political work. So he focused on improving his English language skills, introducing research, and producing an annotation of Antonio Morga's Sucesos de las Islas Filipinas. He believes that London was a safe place for him to carry the reforms he wanted for the Philippines. So he stayed at the Dr. Antonio Maria Regidor's home and boarded at the Beckett family, where he in love with another girl, an 18-year-old English girl who lived in London, si Gertrude. Okay. Another in Great Britain. In London, Rizal received both good news and both bad news. So, good news first, si Reverend Vicente Garcia defending his noli me tangere from the friars or the Spaniards. Ang bad news, another, was the Filipino signatories of the Petition 1888 and the tenants of the Calamba or agrarian trouble were facing persecution. So, Petition 1888, meaning it is the important event in the Philippines group of Philippines. So, na group of Filipinos ni siya, led by Doroteo Cortes and Marcelo H. del Pilar. So, petition to the Spanish Governor General requesting the expulsion of all the friars for the Philippines also. So, naan siya 810 signatures. So, that his brother-in-law, Manuel T. Hidalgo and Mariano Herbosa, have exiled to Bohol and was denied Christian burial. So during sa pagkamatay sa iyang brother-in-law, gidenied ang paglubong o peacefully sa iyang kanang duha ka brother-in-law. Respectfully, and his friend Lorenzo Viado, a UST medical student, was imprisoned for copying his Noli Me Tangere. So, during his stay in this country in London, Rizal also made use of his time in writing essays and articles of La Solidaridad. So, on June 12, 1889, with Filipino and Spanish friends, they founded the Asociacion Hispan-Filipino, which aimed for unionism and reform. So, nagmeet ang mga Spanish and Filipinos to form an organization nga mag-unite ang Spanish and Filipino. So, after 10 after the 10 months, Rizal left London and departed for another country, which is the Paris. So, another in Paris, France. Following his time in London, Rizal's journey continued in Europe. So, in Paris, he furthered his studies in various languages, honed his artistic skills, and established two social clubs. The bigger social club called Kidlat Club, which brought together young Filipinos residing in Paris. So, this club is muna siya ang mga nagpuyo nga Filipinos sa France. So, they founded new Filipino society named Indios Bravos, which organization envisioned Filipinos being recognized by Spain for being an excellent. So, in January 1890, the Sucesos de las Islas Filipinas was finally printed and published by the Garnier Freres. So, in another country, the Belgium. In Belgium, a brief visit to London followed before he had his roommate, Jose Albert, spend time in Brussels, Belgium. So, where Rizal continued contributing to La Solidaridad. So, under the pseudonyms, the pen name, Dimas Alang and Laong Laan. So, Jose Rizal received a letter from Calamba telling that the agrarian trouble was getting worse. So, he decided to go home, but Pasiano, his brother, told him they already lost the case against the Dominicans and they were in need of a lawyer who would defend their family and families in Calamba from Madrid. So Rizal traveled from Madrid to seek the justice, but in vain. He could not found a person. During in Spain, so Rizal had many immerab and adventurous in Madrid. He challenged Antonio Luna and Wenceslao Retana in a duel. So with Luna, it was about the latter's frustration with his unsuccessful love affair with Nelly Boasted, and so gave negative remarks of the lady, with which Rizal did not tolerate. The other encounter was with Retana, who had insulted Rizal and his family by writing in La Epoca, an anti-Filipino newspaper, that the Rizal family in Calamba was invited from their lands because they did not pay their rents. It also afar from the city where Rizal heard the news of Leonor Rivera's marriage with Henry Keeping, an Englishman, which terribly broke his heart. Another marked event in Madrid was the Marcelo H. del Pilar rivalry for leadership in the Asociacion Hispano-Filipino. Ang Asociacion Hispano-Filipino is muna siya ang the united of the Spanish and Filipino people to form a reforms. Dahil ni sila nga mga Spanish, dili ni sila mga traidor nga Spanish. So, a faction emerged from the Filipinos in Madrid, the Rizalistas and Pilanistas. Rizal and the Del Pilars, compatriots respectively, during the organization election. Losing the election, Rizal decided to go back home, fearing that his presence may result to bigger and stronger faction among the Filipinos in Madrid. But instead of going straight to Hong Kong, he went back to Brussels to finish his second novel, The El Filibusterismo. So, we are done discussing about the places that Rizal go during his trip in Europe.